Hey folks, how you doing? Good to see you. Everybody alive? All right. We got proof of life out there. Good to see you guys. We've had a good show today and a lot of amazing panels, but now something very important, and I want to offer a little bit of context. You know, USIBC is a great and storied and honorable institution. It's been around for 48 years. It's coming up on its golden jubilee, but it is part of the United States Chamber of Commerce. It was founded at the behest of both the Indian and American governments back in 1975, and it was placed within the Chamber because the Chamber is such a dynamic and important and glorious institution in Washington, D.C. And because it's in the Chamber, and it has that network of all the thousands of companies that are part of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the world's largest business organization, it increases the credibility and the accuracy and the impact of USIBC's advocacy and activities. Leading the United States Chamber of Commerce is my good friend Suzanne Clark. Suzanne is an amazing business leader. She is a person who is deeply effective in helping manage the political currents of Washington. She follows in the footsteps of Tom, who's right there. Tom, it's nice to see you, sir. He wrote the book on how to manage those kinds of processes. The Chamber works toward constructive, positive outcomes for the American people, for American employers, for American workers, and it does that not only in the United States, but now increasingly around the world. There are thousands of companies from around the United States that are members of the Chamber. There are hundreds of companies that are members of USIBC. Suzanne Clark, as our president, guides us toward the right outcomes and the right destinations for policy impact in order to ensure shared prosperity. Suzanne is a vocal proponent for policies that enable business to innovate, invest, and grow, and helps lead the fight against government proposals that might undermine America's economic strength and competitiveness. Under her leadership, the U.S. Chamber champions constructive solutions and builds coalitions around the issues that are most important to the business community. The U.S. Chamber's work with leaders across both sides of the aisle helps deliver bipartisan passages of the most significant legislation in the country. This organization works closely with lawmakers in America to shape policies across 300 major issues. Suzanne's commitment to free enterprise and understanding of the challenges facing American business stems from her personal experience. She has created and ran and grown major companies. Prior to rejoining the U.S. Chamber in 2014, she acquired, led, and very greatly grew a prominent financial information boutique, the Potomac Research Group. Before that, she was the president of the National Journal Group, a premier provider of information news and analysis. Earlier in her career, Suzanne served in multiple leadership positions right here at the U.S. Chamber, including as Chief Operating Officer. So this is not a world to which she is not unaccustomed. Indeed, she is a profound master. She's on the board of a public company, a Fortune 500 leader in global design, manufacture, and distribution of agricultural equipment, that is AGCO, and also TransUnion, a member of the U.S.-India Business Council, and she's also on the board of the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, Suzanne Clark has a message for all of us of support and solidarity, and so I'd like to direct your attention to the video screen, and we'll hear from the President of the United States Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Clark, President and CEO of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the American business community, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. And I especially want to welcome our guests who traveled all the way from India to celebrate this special event with us. For nearly half a century, the U.S. Chamber's U.S.-India Business Council has worked to strengthen the commercial ties between the world's oldest and largest democracies. Now, as we look forward to Indian Prime Minister Modi's state visit to the United States, the U.S.-India Business Council and the U.S. Chamber are continuing our efforts to promote this important bilateral relationship. I'd like to briefly highlight a few of the ways we've done that already this year. In January, we helped launch the ISET in collaboration with U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo and the national security advisors from both nations. Our team in Delhi has participated in IPEF deliberations as well as G20 events. Here in Washington, we welcomed the new U.S. Ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti, and hosted India's Minister of Finance. Next week, we'll hold the inaugural IndusX conference to promote a stronger U.S.-India defense startup ecosystem. And of course, today, we're hosting our annual India Ideas Summit, along with the 48th annual general meeting of this council. All of these efforts drive forward the mission of the U.S.-India Business Council. Working across sectors and alongside more than 200 member companies, the Council helps strengthen the U.S.-India partnership, as well as the ability of our nations to meet global challenges. We face historic inflation, supply chain bottlenecks, and the transformative impact of critical and emerging technologies. In addition to all of this, the Indo-Pacific region faces mounting threats to open, rules-based trade. At the U.S. Chamber, we understand that free enterprise, free markets, and free trade have a proven track record for good in the world. We know that global engagement is how we protect our national security, promote our values, and unlock economic growth. It's how we lift people up and strengthen communities. Our success in advancing these values and meeting these challenges head-on depends on collaboration. When it comes to the U.S. and India, that means remaining united in our commitment to de-risk and diversify global supply chains. It means remaining committed to protecting the growth of emerging markets from climate risks. Most importantly, it means honoring our commitment to preserve a global economy underpinned by free enterprise, competitive markets, and rules-based trade and investment. These are big commitments, and our trade relationship will help us deliver on each of them. Through this summit, and ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Washington, the U.S. Chamber encourages both governments to reaffirm their pledge to meet the goal of reaching $500 billion in bilateral trade. And we urge leaders at all levels to think about what we can do to help us get there. I'm confident every company represented here today, as well as the entire U.S. Chamber team, is ready to help achieve that vision. By reaching that ambitious bilateral trade target together, we can demonstrate to the world that the future of the global economy will be one anchored by democracy, free enterprise, open markets, and the rule of law. Once again, thank you all for joining us, and I hope you enjoy an informative and productive summit.